Hi, my name is Tony Holmes, and I am the Executive Director for the Department of
Good evening. I am Melissa Mims, the Director of Public Relations. Welcome to the second info session of our series. Through the sessions, we are working to educate more members in the community about how county government operates. We appreciate you coming tonight and watching during Facebook Live. Tonight's meeting will cover the Talent Management Department and the Finance Department. The meeting is currently being recorded or viewing on demand, and we are actively live streaming on the Rockdale County Facebook page, the Rockdale County website, and Rockdale 23 YouTube channel. Before we get started, the evening will start with our presenters giving their presentation. Following the presentations, we will open the floor for questions. Questions will be collected via question card only and read via our staff. If you do not have a card, please pick up one on the way or one of our representatives will help you. Without further ado, please welcome Executive Director Tony Holmes, and her team will present on Rockdale County Talent Management.
Good evening, and thank you, Director Mims. Okay, all right, So today I am excited to share with you your talent management team for Rockdale County. So we not only service the employees here, obviously that's our internal customer, but also all of the citizens. So we definitely have some giveaways in the front door. And in those giveaways, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but one of our focuses as well that we want to share with the citizens is that we are hiring. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that. Next slide, please. Okay. I am going to have an introduction of our team. We're going to talk about the services that we provide to Rockdale County. We're also going to talk about some future plans, and then we will wrap it up with a Q&A session. Next slide, please. All right, so who's on the stage? Who we are right now, I have myself. I'm the Executive Director for the Department of Talent Management. I will tell you this, when you hear talent management, always thinking about, what does that mean? We do perform all of the traditional services of a human resources department. Who's here today with me is myself as the Executive Director of Talent Management, my Deputy Director, Kimberly Redd. She can raise her hand like we're on a talk show. E. Courier, who is our Benefits and Wellness Specialist. He is here in the place of Bianca Mallory Thompson, who is our Benefits and Wellness Manager. Ms. Claudette Rancifer, who is over recruitment and retention, and Nina Valentine, who is our employee relations manager. We also are going to talk about our training and development initiatives as well. Next slide. Okay. One of the things that I thought was interesting when I was looking at our vision, our mission, and our values, this vision, this mission was written back in 2017, 2018. So it was a goal for us to make sure that we achieve these things. And when I looked at it this year, I sat down with my team and thought how applicable this was. Not only is it applicable, it's even more applicable right now in 2023 than it was when we wrote it in 2017. So when we think about creating career development, strategic initiatives, aligning with the county, we also listed out our values, and those things have grown and developed over time. They focus on training and development. So we do have them up here on the board, but we have our Teach Retreat, we have our Bridge, as well as Super Rock, and all of those things stand for career development with Rockdale County. Next slide, please. At this time, I'm going to invite up my Deputy Director, Kimberly Redd, and she's going to go over all of the services or a snapshot, a high-level overview of what it is that we provide for Rockdale County. Deputy Director Redd.
Thank you, Executive Director Holmes. Good evening. As you stated, my name is Kimberly Redd, and I am the Deputy Director in Talent Management here in Rockdale County. So I'm just going to speak briefly about the services that we offer our employees here at Rockdale County. In talent management, we handle the intricacies of retention for our employees, recruitment, benefits and wellness. We handle the employee experience as well as engagement. We handle HRIS, which stands for Human Resource Informational Services, training and development, as well as compensation and classification. So I will not steal my team's thunder. I will allow each one of them to tell you a little bit more about what they do. So at this time, we have Ecoria Walker.
You remember it already? Oh, you want to read it?
Good evening. I'm Ecoria Walker, the Benefits and Wellness Specialist for Rockdale County, and I'll be covering our benefits. Our current medical providers are Anthem, which offers 3 plans, and Kaiser. Dental is offered through Delta Dental, and our vision is offered through Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Our life and disability insurance is offered through Unum. They also offer our EAP, which is our Employee Assistance Program. We have Rockdale County has a great pension plan. We also have services from Aflac, AmeriFlex, and Legal Shield. Wellness, our wellness program is grant funded. Some of the things we have here at Rockdale County, we offer a health education coach. We offer fitness classes on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We offer wellness walks, cooking classes, lunch and learn covering various topics from nutrition, mental wellness, financial wellness. We offer flu clinics, quarterly blood drives, and a state-of-the-art meditation room.
Stay
are. I love it. All right, at this time, we will have Claudette come up, and she's going to tell you about recruitment and retention and what we're doing with that initiative. Next slide, please.
Well, good evening. My name is Claudette Rancifer. I'm the manager of recruitment and retention, and I'm here to talk about, yes, we're hiring. In the words of Executive Director Holmes, we are hiring. Actually, today I was at a job fair doing just what I do, attract and hopefully retain employees here at Rockdale County. The retention portion has a lot to do with our succession planning, which we are implementing this year. So we not only want to attract qualified candidates, we want to keep them here with providing opportunities for them to move forward through a career path or just their tenure. We have those employees that just started and those employees that have been here 30 to 40 plus years. In addition, we host a market study every 2 years. And with this market study, we compare ourselves with like counties. And then, of course, we have to look at our surrounding counties to make sure that we can keep those individuals here as much as we possibly can by providing a fair and competitive salary as we attract and retain employees. We have a lot of current vacancies. Currently, there are about 79 positions posted. We're featuring a lot of positions this summer for our summer camp. So if you know anyone that's interested in working in a great environment, you have any students that are 17 years or older, we're hiring in our sheriff's department, within our Department of Transportation, stormwater management, water customer service. Please visit our website. We have a brand new website. You just select the employment button at the bottom of the page, and it'll take you directly to apply for positions. And then the final thing that I want to talk about, we host an annual employment summit every July. So we focused last year specifically on vacancies for the county. Previous years, we invited out the community, regional and local employers, but we decided we want to fill our positions. So join us in July of this year. You'll hear more about it because we are hiring.
Thank you. Nina will come up and talk to you about, she's now going to come up and talk about what we are calling the total employee experience. So Ms. Nina Valentine, she is our employee relations manager.
Hi, I am Nina Valentine, Employee Relations Manager, and what we do in employee relations, we have a touch on every employee within the county, elected officials' offices as well. And the PowerPoint shows an example of some of the big things that we do. We do a lot more. But we always want to hear from the employees. So we have initiated suggestion boxes that will be going out in the next week or so to specific departments, but it's also going to be done digitally. So it's a QR code that employees can scan and leave a suggestion on there. Now from this, we've done this in the past, and we have gotten some great suggestions from it. Extra personal day for the employees because we value them. They work hard within the county. We got Juneteenth as a holiday a year before the federal government made it a federal holiday. So those are just some examples. The employment engagement surveys is also another way to hear from our employees. So that is going to be this year as well, because we want to hear and get information from the employees regarding their experience here at Rockdale, whether they were just hired in the past 90 days or whether they've been here for 40 years. And we do have, as Claudette said, we do have 40-plus year employees at Rockdale because it's a great place to work. And this is something fun, the Donuts with Employee Relations. So myself and Andrea Davey, who works with me in employee relations, we will be popping up in a department early on the morning that I'm not going to tell the employees what day it's going to be, but it's going to be a nice surprise that we are going to celebrate our employees with donuts at no cost to them. And the accountability training that we do in employee relations, it is a training because we want to strengthen our leadership. This training is specifically for supervisors, managers, directors, and also deputy directors. And we assist them in the do's and don'ts, the best practices, and keep them up on the policies as well to maintain with our employees so they can have happy workplaces. So feel free to contact our office if any further information might be needed. Thank you.
All right. So again, these are high-level summaries of what we do. I do want to, if we can go to the next slide, which talks about training and development and us developing our workplace culture. So this initiative, of course, we talked about succession planning. We talked about career development as well. Some of the retreats that we do and some of the initiatives, we have focused on our leadership team. So we do a training that's called the Teach Retreat. That is for our directors and deputy directors. Last year, we were excited to be able to bring all of our managers together. That is our Bridge Leadership Conference. And I'm going to go ahead and throw these acronyms out here. I'm going to quiz my team right now. We can tell what these acronyms mean. But Bridge, building, resourceful, inspiring, driven, the G, goal-oriented, and engaged leaders. That is our Bridge Leadership Conference. Of course, our Super Rock training, which we just did, that's for the very first time that we've done training of this level. We brought all of our supervisors together in one place. We talked to them about leadership. We talked to them about change management. We talked to them about simple communication, how you lead and drive people or inspire people. So our Super Rock Leadership Conference, you're going to try and say what that is? Strengthening, unique, professionals, empowering, relationships. That is Super Rock. And of course, the Rock is for Rockdale County. So we are excited to be able to bring those things. Some of the other things that you have up there, we talk about our quarterly training calendars. We partner with technology services. We partner with our risk management team. Those classes are available to everyone in the county. We also talk about our emerging leaders cohort. Yep. That's up there. And emerging leaders, those are those individuals. Again, we came up with the 3 different conferences, the 3 different training, but we have individuals that's part of our succession that want to advance in the county. So we do have a program where we take 9 individuals per year and we put them through an emerging leaders cohort. This emerging leaders cohort partners with another county. This year, we are actually partnering with a county or a city in California. So we have 9 of our employees here in Rockdale County that are participating in that cohort. So we're excited to be able to bring that to the county. And then the second thing up there is Rockin' Rockdale Toastmasters. And I'm going to go ahead and say our award-winning Rockin' Rockdale Toastmasters. So we are excited about that. We started and charted that organization in 2017. That is a community organization. So when I said we are your talent management team, we are your talent management team. Rockin' Rockdale, anybody can come. We do meet twice a month. We invite people to come out. And most people, when they hear Toastmasters, just by a show of hands in this room, other than those who work for us, how many of you are familiar with Toastmasters? Yay. So we do have someone that's familiar with Toastmasters. Most people, when they hear Toastmasters, they think about public speaking. Toastmasters is about effective communication. So making sure that you are comfortable not only with public speaking, but that you're able to articulate a complete message, that you're using the right voice pitch, that you are conscious of your time. So we have a lot of fun with that. Definitely welcome the citizens, for those of you that are watching, to come out and hear more about Rockin' Rockdale Toastmasters. We're going to go to the next slide. Okay, let's talk about our future plans. One of the things that was just up there that I forgot to mention also is Local GovU. So Local GovU is our LMS system for Rockdale County. We have over 3,000 courses that's on that site. So we talked about the quarterly training calendar. We also have those classes available so we can upload content, original content for the county, as well as classes that are available specific for public safety, customer service, risk management training. So a lot of different information on Local GovU. This next slide talks about our future plans, and again, this is just a snapshot. So one of the things I want to talk about that we are bringing to Rockdale County, and that is mental health first aid. Mental Health First Aid is an initiative we're partnering with NACO, that's the National Association of Counties, and that will allow our employees, we're going to train our employees, and it's going to allow them to be able to identify mental health situations with their employees, mental health situations with their coworkers, and also know what resources are available to them. So that program is actually going to start this year. Our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiative, we have been introducing diversity, equity, and inclusion training since we started the Teach Retreat. All of the conferences that I just discussed all include a component of diversity, equity, and inclusion. There's a new letter that's added to that. That's that B word. It also now includes belonging. So diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging will be part of that initiative for us. Sign Now. We're all about efficiency here in Rockdale County. So Sign Now is how we will now implement, look, Sign Now, how we will implement our PA process. And PA stands for Personnel Action Form. Those are the documents that we need before we can make any change on any employee, and that is the HRIS system that Deputy Director mentioned earlier. When we're entering people, when we're hiring people, if we're changing their direct deposit, if they get married and they want to change their name, if they're adding dependents, if they're leaving, if they're changing their benefits, all of those things go through our HRIS system. And in that particular case, all of those things require a personnel action form. Right now, that is a paper-driven process. This Sign Now application will allow that to be electronic. So we are super excited about Sign Now. A couple of other things in there. We have the KPIs, or key performance indicators. That is about productivity. So as we continue with our training initiatives, we have rolled that out to all of our directors, all of our department heads, and really we're talking about measuring. So what gets measured gets done, and we do understand that, and we want to make sure that we are allowing our leadership team to create those metrics, and we're working with them in terms of developing KPIs. The next thing, two things up there, succession planning, we've talked about that. And then the very bottom thing, which is what Nina spoke about, which is TTEE. We love an acronym here at Talent Management, if you guys don't know that already. But TTEE stands for the Total Employee Experience again. So that campaign and those initiatives will be rolled out this year in 2023. Next slide, please. And at this point, Director Mims, that will conclude our presentation for Talent Management. We want to thank everybody for coming out. We do have a QR code at the front, so if you didn't get one, we have that, and that actually has all of the positions that we're hiring for right now. So that's in our giveaway, our gift bag at the front door. And that's all we have. You're welcome. Thank you.
At this time, we're gonna, thank you, Executive Director Holmes. We will now hear from our CFO, David Corbin, and the finance team.
Good evening, everyone. Donuts, giveaways, QR codes. How's finance supposed to compete against that? Again, good evening, citizens of Rockdale County, community stakeholders, my colleagues that are visiting with us this evening, and any other honored guests that are here or online. I am David Corbin. I'm honored to be standing here in service as the Chief Financial Officer of Rockdale County. I'm also joined by my colleague and Deputy Director, Narinder Batwa, if I've said that correctly. Thank you for being here. I know that each of you in attendance this evening had many other places and places you could be and things you can do. And for that, I appreciate you taking a minute of your time to join us. If I can talk about finance, I mean, we're known as numbers guys, but if I can talk about finance, a little bit, not so much about the numbers, but of things that we do on a daily basis. I think we have, you can go to the next slide for us, please. That'd be great. Next one. A couple things when I think about finance and I think about the things that we do, I'm always wondering what people think of us. We tend to be thought of as people that say no all the time when it comes to budgets and job creation, a number of things, and we clearly can't compete with talent management on the things that they do. But if nothing else, before we leave here this evening, some of the key attributes, how I think you should look at us is, one is we are impactful, we're committed, and we're also team players. Just as sort of the trees are the earth, are lungs to the earth, good governance and finance is the lifeline to running any great operation. Our talented employees, we have 20 of them in the finance department, including myself, that show up in each and every day. From COVID, rain, shine, sometimes our buildings are cold, but they show up every day to get the job done. And more importantly, as a final comment with respect to our team being a team player, we realize that the things we do, the outcomes that we expect, we're codependent on all of our colleagues and also the stakeholders in the community when it comes to getting our work done. What we do, the county finance department, through our board of commissioners, maintains a fiduciary responsibility to prudently manage the fiscal affairs of the county. That fiduciary responsibility is taken, it's a matter of trust that's extended to the elected officials and subsequently passed down to us, and we take that very seriously. Our operating strategies, our procedures, our processes, our protocols are established through a couple of mechanisms, primarily law, policy, and certainly our regulatory bodies known as GASB. So the state of Georgia, the federal government sets outlines as to how we process our work. The Board of Commissioners passes policies on things that they expect to manage money prudently. And finally, again, GASB, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, creates a framework for how we are to report for transparency purposes. What does success, I want to talk about what success looks like a little bit for our department. It's a big picture. Instead of talking about how we do these things, I think it's important to maybe focus a little bit on why are we doing what we do. And this is not in any specific order of priority. First one is earning a clean or unqualified opinion. Every year, we have an external auditor that comes in and they reviews our books and records. They test our procedures, they test our policies. The goal is in our department for the county is for that auditor to say, y'all are doing everything possible in the right way. The timing's right. We're doing these things to make sure that you understand that prudence and fiduciary factor is being implemented. Second item we have is get payroll right 100% of the time for 100% of the employees. That's probably one of the things that I think about on a daily basis. When you go to the store and you use your debit card, when you go to the doctor and you want to use your insurance card, when a retiree needs to get a check, no matter what day or time, we have to make sure that's right. 26,000 times a year. We have 1,000 employees approximately, 26 payrolls, and we don't have the luxury of being wrong because we usually hear it. Earning the highest credit rating possible that accurately reflects our financial strength. There are a lot of things going on in this world. You have the banking sector that y'all may have heard about the last couple of days. We've got the economy changing, we've got COVID, but at the end of the day, the county is trying to maintain the highest possible credit rating we can based on the activities and the things that we can control. In November of this past year, the executive team led by the commission went to New York and had our bond rating established at AA1. The very highest rating you can get is a AAA, and a AA1 I think is truly outstanding for the environment that we were in. Prior to COVID, we were AA2, now we're a AA1, and that comes basically on the policies that the commission had put forth for us to follow. Another priority, developing a balanced budget that reflects the county's short and long-term community priorities and the Board of Commissioners' vision and for service delivery strategy. That's another important item. Every year, state law requires that we have a balanced budget, but that balanced budget needs to reflect what the needs of the community are. If we can get that right every year, we feel like the finance department has been a success. Full adherence and compliance with fiscal policies adopted by the board. We have fund balance reserves. We have different things that we have to follow. Every day, everyone in our department strives to get that right. Maintain financial resources and sound financial practices that are adequate and readily available to meet Operation Service Delivery Platform. I think sometimes people forget that the county runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There has to be money and resources available to support those activities, even when money's not coming in. So if you think about it, and it's important to note, we ask the taxpayers on a property tax bill to pay once a year, but we provide those services throughout the year, 12 months out the year, before we get paid. So we have to do a very good job of managing our cash flow, managing our resources to basically make sure that there's always money in the till. During COVID, we were successful at that, and we will continue to be. The last one, and I could continue on, is maintaining the trust and integrity with all county internal and external shareholders. We have to do a better job of making sure we communicate the fiduciary responsibility we have. And so when we can improve on that on a daily basis, that we think the finance department is successful. So let me take a minute and go into, if I can get you to go to the next slide, some of the services that we have. General accounting and audit, they prepare the financial information that our auditors and all of our stakeholders can review on an annual basis. You can find any of our capital reports online every year upon completion. Budget and strategic planning, I just referenced that. We have a $144 million budget between our utilities and the general fund. We also have a capital improvement plan that we've implemented over the last couple of years, which allows us to extend our financial maturity. Next slide, please. Payroll. Again, 26,000 opportunities every year that can go wrong, and we pride ourselves in terms of what gets measured gets fixed. That's a very critical, important role for us. Accounts payable, we process a little over 12,000 checks a year for vendors that do business with the county. Again, those checks have to be right because they're money, that's money that's going out the door for the county. One more slide, please. Grants management, very important division. Since the federal government has gotten more involved since COVID, we've gotten more federal grants, there's state grants. Our department does a very good job of applying for those grants because every time we get a grant, it helps offset operating costs or capital costs that may be available to extend or deliver community services in a better way. Procurement and purchasing, again, our outreach to acquire goods and services, Tina Malone, I'm glad you're joining us this evening. It provides us again with the ability to adequately procure goods and services at the lowest possible price through a bidding process or a competitive process. Next slide, future plans. So a couple of big things here. Continue to improve and enhance our transparency. I referenced that before. One of the things that we're going to spend a great deal of time on this year in 2023 is making sure our reporting is better, not just internally, but externally, because it allows our stakeholders to make better decisions. Employ better technology, electronic requisitioning. We're still doing a lot of our processes by paper. It's important for us now to try to figure out a better way and a secure way to basically pay people and pay our vendors electronically. Improve cross-training with staff. In finance, we have such a small department, but we have to have redundancy. So one way we're going to solve that is cross-training our employees across a number of different functions. Next slide. Aggressively seek out grants. Again, I mentioned that we have a grants department. Every dollar we can get through a grant is one less dollar we have to charge the taxpayers. Chairman of the county has tasked us with being very aggressive this year in seeking out additional funding for various programs. Procurement awareness. We're working diligently to make sure that people understand that Rockdale County is open for business. We feel like the more we can make people aware of that, the better pricing we'll get, the more competitive bids we'll get. That's it. I appreciate it. No QR code.
You can have a seat. We're going to ask questions of both departments. Thank you so much for that presentation. Thank you for these wonderful questions. So this first question is for HR. Do you do exit interviews?
The answer is yes, but I do want to allow my team to speak on our process for exit interviews.
Yes, we do exit interviews, and we do keep that documentation that we receive back from the employee that has worked with the county and give it back to that specific department. And I can really say that we don't get a lot of bad exit interviews. We get very good exit interviews the majority of the time, and we build off of those. For some of those that may not be that well, then we build off of those too, because those are some changes that we can make.
Thank you. This next question is for finance. What percentage of the pension fund is funded?
Approximately 75%.
Thank you. This is HR, what does the Humana grant pay for? Is it included in the premium?
The Humana grant. If they can clarify the question. Are you referring to Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, our wellness fund? Okay. Thank you. So with our wellness initiative, actually, Ecoria's salary is paid for in the wellness initiative, along with our health education coach, all of our wellness classes, any employee engagement that has to do with fitness. So when we do initiatives and we have challenges with our employees, we do recognition for our employees. So the wellness grant does cover all of the initiatives surrounding health and benefits, as well as recognition surrounding health and benefits as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Finance. How many grant writers do we have?
We've got one grant writer.
Do we write grants for RCSO?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. HR, where do we advertise our jobs?
I'm going to allow our recruitment and retention manager to answer that question.
Absolutely. All of our positions are advertised on the county website. In addition to the county website, they're also featured on Indeed and ZipRecruiter. Additionally, some of the professional positions are posted on LinkedIn, and then we also post positions on various sites that represent the various industry, as in water, stormwater management, planning and development, things of that nature.
How many employees do we have this year? How many did we have last year?
I'm going to go ahead and give an approximate number right now. We are budgeted for approximately 1,100 employees for 2023 that we're in. We did not add any positions for 2023. We did do some in the middle of 2022, which were approximately, if we're about 1,100 right now, I'm going to say maybe 1050. So we probably added about 40 positions. And a lot of that has to do with the 36 firefighters that we added for fire station number 10. So we averaged between 1,000 and 1,200 employees on a budgeting. So 2022 as well as 2023.
How many of those employees work for the sheriff's office?
The sheriff's office is budgeted for 314 positions. That includes the school crossing guards.
Do you provide HR for the sheriff's office?
There are some services that we provide for the entire county, so that includes payroll, our HRS system, as well as our benefits, workers' compensation. Those things are managed from a centralized perspective. They do have their own hiring and disciplinary and employee relations functions, so we do not provide those services for them.
I'm not sure I understand this next question. It's for finance. Will you be implementing the previous director's new policies? Would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the policies that you're referring to.
Okay. How long does it take to onboard a fire recruit?
Initially, the fire recruit has to complete an application. Upon completing the application, they are sent a packet from the fire department. From that point, once they've presented all of the documentation that they need, then they're sent out to Caduceus to do a physical, firefighter hazmat. They bring in all of that information, and from that point, an offer letter is issued and they're hired. Now, that process has a lot to do with whether the candidate does their part in bringing in the required documentation. So it could be a month, it could be several weeks. So it's a portion that goes back to the candidate's responsibility to make sure they have certain things in order.
Melissa, I just wanted to make, for clarity too, and when they say onboarding, they're not speaking of the entire academy process, they're just talking about from post to hire? Okay, yes.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay. How many workers' comp accidents was last year, and how many so far this year?
So we do not have that information off the top of my head. We would actually have to provide that information at a later time.
Okay. This says finance, but it may be for talent management as well. Do we have hybrid employees in the office and from home?
When you say hybrid, are you referring to telework?
I believe she's referring to telework.
The answer is yes.
Do you know how many are in the office and how many from home?
It depends by department. So right now, that process for telework, we do allow the department heads to approve that in conjunction with the Office of Talent Management. And so we do have some we don't have anyone right now that has fully, that means they completely work remote. But the question was about hybrid. So we do have some employees that work in the office some days and then they telework some other days. So that is a county policy that we implemented in 2022.
Do we use Carl Vinson Institute for training?
Yes, we do.
Finance. Where can someone find the host collections and budget?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yes, where can someone find the host collections and budget? Are they listed on the website?
No, they are not listed on the website.
How can someone get a copy of the host collections and budget? Is it open for the public?
That's available in our CAFR, and CAFR is available in our website. They can see in the CAFR.
Okay. Are you able to elaborate a little bit on the answer?
If they want to see the monthly host collection, they can go to the Department of Revenue website, and from there they can see the monthly collection also.
Okay, and what about the host budget, or are you speaking of the regular budget? Host budget or Rockdale County's budget? Host budget, where, is that on the Internal Revenue Service website as well?
No, host budget is in our budget, and that's about 21.5 million.
Okay. EAP, how is it different from mental health first aid?
Ikora, did you want to answer that, or you want me to answer it? Okay, he said I can answer it. The Employee Assistance Program, that is a confidential benefit that's offered through our health providers. And so someone who needs EAP may not necessarily, and I'll go ahead and share this, I mean, I've personally used EAP. They have a wealth of information. So it's not a training platform as it is a resource for our employees to be able to speak to someone about different issues. It can be nutrition, it can be the loss of a loved one. Mental health first aid is a training program. So one of the things, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, with mental health first aid, we are actually going to include and make it available for all of our employees to participate in the mental health first aid. EAP is something that's optional for our employees to participate in. It's a benefit. So if you have again, I'll just mention the loss of a loved one, if you are going through a divorce, if you need to talk about your finances, those are things that EAP can assist with. But again, it's an optional benefit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How many applicants for Director of P&D and Finance, and are you using a headhunter firm?
I'm going to go ahead and let Claudette answer that question. I do know the answer, but I'm going to let her answer.
Total number of applicants, that number?
She said applicants or?
Applicants
Okay.
For the Director of Planning and Development?
and Finance.
And Finance. I would have to, are you pulling it up right now?
I can see.
Thank you. And are we using a headhunter? Yes, we are.
Are there different positions we use headhunters for?
We specifically use headhunters for director level positions.
What was your question? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. These are wonderful questions tonight. So finance, while we're pulling that up, are there any myths that the citizens think about finance that we want to clear up tonight? What are the myths about finance, the finance department?
I'm not aware of any of them.
Okay. So is there a myth about a forensic audit? We've spoken about that before. Is there anything you want to say about that?
I'm sorry, would you want to repeat that for me one
So
more?
it wasn't a question, I just heard it come out as a statement a moment ago, but they said, can you speak anything about a forensic audit? Is it a myth? Is it something that we're working with?
I've not recommended a forensic audit. We have an external audit that's completed on an annual basis, and there's no cause for, I see no cause for a forensic audit.
Do you want to clarify why you see no cause for the forensic audit?
I mean, I think the better question is, what would entice me to do one, right? I've not identified theft. There's been no theft. There's funds aren't missing. Our processes and procedures are reviewed on an annual basis. We have a great credit rating. I don't see any indicators or signals as a finance professional that would lead me to believe that our internal controls are not in satisfactory condition that would warrant such a review.
And our audit backs that up, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you have?
I don't have it.
Oh, okay.
I don't have it.
We don't have it?
Yeah, well, I don't have the finance one. I can pull up the planning and development numbers that we did have.
So while talent management is doing that, are there any myths about talent management and the role you play for the citizens?
So we are not a talent agency. That is a myth. We don't do photo shoots in our office. We are human resources, and I'm not being funny, but we do receive phone calls quite a bit from other departments. The other thing is we don't service the Board of Education in terms of human resources or any of the other 10 entities, the City of Conyers. They have separate human resource departments for all of those different functions. And you guys mentioned about the sheriff's office, so we do service the entire county as it pertains to benefits, workers' compensation, payroll. All of those things are serviced by talent management. And the numbers for planning and development, hold on, you guys. This right now lists a total of 19. The question was how many applicants we've had. Total of 19 for planning and development director.
Do we have a count for the finance director?
We do not have a count for the finance director.
I
but this is
want to say it was 39, but I would have to confirm that.
an estimated number.
It's an estimate off the top of my head, just reviewing.
Awesome. So these have been some great questions and great information provided. Are there any closing thoughts that either department would like to share?
I'll go first. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I think it's great information, and anytime we can share and provide clarity in terms of what we do. I do have a couple of my team members here today, so I'm going to call them out. Cynthia, if you can raise your hand, she is our HRIS specialist, so she literally enters all of the data for all of the employees here in Rockdale County. So in conjunction with finance, we actually enter the information, and then they actually pay for what it is that we've entered, and that would be Cynthia. She does all of that information. Andrea, if you can raise your hand. Andrea serves as our COVID phone screener right now through our ARPA allocation. She also supports our employee relations initiative with Rockdale County, so we're excited to have her here. And those are my closing comments. So thank you guys again. Any questions, please reach out to our team, and we are hiring, so thank you.
Thank you. Now, just want to end saying thank you for the opportunity to be here. Our department is proud to be a member of this community. One of the things that we're going to have to work on a lot this year is engagement, right? Engagement and transparency. Those are hallmarks of what the Board of Commissioners and the chairman has set out for us to do. and I expect great things out of us this year. Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to thank you for attending our info session this evening. We hope that your questions have been answered and you gained a little bit more insight into talent management in our finance department. Please remember, you can always go back and view the session on Rockdale County Facebook page, the county website, Rockdale 23, YouTube, and the Rockdale Vimeo page. Our next session will be in the same location, 903 Main Street, Conyers, at 6 p.m., April 19th. We will have presentations from the Planning and Development Department. Thank you again for coming out, and we hope to see you next time.